San Diego State legend Ephraim Salaam. Things are really good for the San Diego State football program these days, no question about that. We are now 16 days away from the opening game of the 2018 season as the Aztecs open up on the road against the Stanford Cardinal. And joining us right now is the head coach of San Diego State, our dear friend Rocky Long. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We are doing well. I got Aztec legend Ephraim Salaam. He's ready for a comeback at age 42.
No.
I
tell you
don't know
what,
if he
we
has
could
any...
use him. I'll tell you, especially that first game, we could use him to stuff up the line of scrimmage a little bit for us and let those DBs run around and tackle people.
That's funny.
Coach, yesterday, Costa and I had Juwan Washington on, and I love his confidence, and he should be confident. 2 years ago, as a redshirt freshman, he averaged 8 yards a carry, playing behind DJ and Rashad. Last year, playing behind Rashad, another big year, not only as a running back, but also as a kick returner, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. So as you project right now for Juwan Washington, and by the way, he's not afraid of the fact that opening game, you got that Bryce Love on the other side. But do you plan on using him like Rashad Penny, where he's not just going to be a feature back, but he'll be used on returns? I know last year you had Rashad on kickoff returns. Suddenly you threw him in on a punt return. He ran it all the way back for a touchdown. But how do you envision Juwan Washington's role this year for the Aztecs?
Well, Coach Jordan's our offense coordinator and running back coach, and he kind of does it the same way every year, and he's planning on doing the same thing. You have a starter, and like you said, we run the ball. So a starter's going to carry the ball anywhere from 20 to 30 times in a game, and then his backup's going to carry it anywhere from 15 to 20 times. And so now Juwan's the guy, so he's going to get the ball up to maybe 30 times a game, and if our offensive line plays as well as we think they can, he's going to have a great year.
I'm looking forward to that. Coach, Kristen Chapman is your senior leader at quarterback. Is there a game plan or is there an attempt to open him up and let him throw the ball down the field a little bit more and not just off play action, which he's excelled at, but to really open it up? And are we just going to be, this is our team, we run the ball, or are we going to let him throw that thing around the field a little bit more?
Well, that seems to be a good question that everybody has on their mind, and I don't know any other way to answer it. We're going to do what we do as long as it's successful. I mean, as long as Juwan's having a great year and we're able to run the ball and we're getting big plays out of the play-action pass, we're going to keep doing that. Now, we have confidence in Christian that if they start stuffing the line of scrimmage and we're not having the success running the ball, that being an experienced quarterback, he understands our system, and we'll be able to throw it down the field and do all that if we have to. Now, we'd rather keep them off the field. They can't score if they're not on the field, and we like to run the ball, so we're going to try to keep doing what we're doing, but we think with the experienced quarterback we are able to maybe expand the role if need be.
Coach, I was talking to Ephraim about this a little bit earlier. Last time I checked, you don't have any preseason games on your schedule. The games start and count from day one. I mean, how do you get the team ready? In this month leading up to that opening game with all these young kids and all – how do you do it? I mean, how do you get them ready for a game that's not a dress rehearsal? You're going to play a top 15 team. How do you do it?
Well, we try to do it every year, and every year we have a little different problem because of the experience on your team. When you have a veteran team, in other words, you have a bunch of juniors and seniors on your team, you're pretty ready to go. You don't need any exhibition games and all that. In the NFL, that's for the veteran teams. That's just to make money. The rookie teams, the teams that don't have very much experience, it's to get those guys experience. So we're not a very veteran team this year. We were last year. We have a lot of young guys we count on playing, and those guys need the experience. So we'll be a little shaky going into the first game, but hopefully we'll get up to speed quick and have a chance to win.
Coach, switching to the other side of the ball, defensively, you're known as a defensive genius. What do you see from – you lost a lot of great talent on that defense last year. What do you see from your young guys coming up defensively?
Well, there's a player for you because you know exactly what we're fighting. We lost a lot of good players on defense, so we're going to be very young. And, that stuff about knowing what you're doing on defense has a lot to do with how good of players you have. If you have got good players, then all of a sudden you know what you're doing on defense. And if you don't have good players, you don't. But we've got a lot of talent. I mean, they're young in a couple spots, the secondary mainly, and that's scary a little bit. But they're very talented, and they've been in our system, so it's not like we're teaching them a new system. We expect them to play well.
Coach, the run defense, obviously the bowl game got a little away from you, and that's a weird situation because you're facing the kind of offense that you're not used to facing. Now you go against a Stanford team, and you've already gotten a full look at Bryce Love, what he did a year ago. I mean, he's a phenomenal talent. So when you're trying to tighten up a run defense, what are some of the elements necessary to see improvement in that facet of your defense?
Well, number one, they're completely different offenses. And whenever you go against a triple option team like Army was, if you don't do things exactly right, you're in a whole heap of trouble. And obviously we didn't do things very well in that game at all. The other system is a system similar to ours, where they're going to have a tailback, and how well you play blocks at the line of scrimmage, how well you can get off a block has a chance. You have a chance to play that pretty well, and unless you have a very talented tailback back there. And last year we had two talented tailbacks in the game, with Rashad Penny being on our side. I don't know. We're just going to try. The best way to do it is to keep the ball and keep him off the field. I'm very disappointed he didn't come out to the NFL, because that's what we were counting on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Why would he stay to get his diploma at Stanford? I mean, seriously. I mean, what is this education thing about?
Look, Coach, with Washington carrying the brunt of the load of the running game, I talked about it earlier on the show that, you know, it was several games last year where Penny had tremendous games. He really didn't play in the fourth quarter, and I always want to see guys get more carries, especially when they're in the national spotlight. I want to overdo it. I want the 300-yard games. I want the 350-yard games. Can you please, if things are rolling for us, okay, and you're up the fourth quarter, just let Washington have it, man. Let him run to dominance in this Heisman race, because I believe in him and I know he can do it. Just give him the ball.
I'll tell you what, you've turned into a media guy now. I'll tell you, instead of worrying about the next game, I mean, now if it's the last game of the year, I'm all for that. Last game of the year, if he's going crazy, we'll give it to him 50 times. But up until that time, we're worried about the next. If we're ahead, there's no reason to have him in there taking a beating, because we need him the next week.
I got it. I know. I'm just being selfish right now. That's all. I'm just being selfish.
Well, you know, Ephraim, Coach Long was out. They had the unveiling of the projected new Aztec Stadium. Obviously, we have a big vote coming up in November. We're keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to work out best for the team that really matters, and that's San Diego State and their football program. But, Coach, you were sort of kidding about the fact that, I mean, normally when you're successful, dominating a conference, as you've been in the conversation for many years now with the Mountain West Conference, you know, all the big schools come knocking away, and you sort of kidded about the fact nobody's interested in me at my age. Well, we know they are interested. But now that you're at this point of your career and you've settled in and you got it, no more rebuilding. It's a reloading situation at San Diego State. How is it different for you now as a head coach as it was when you first got your head coaching job in New Mexico? How has your evolution as a head coach changed over the years?
It's very simple. You get good people. You make sure you hire good people that are around you, and then you let them do their job. I think when you first become a head coach, you think you're supposed to be responsible for everything, and you're supposed to have part of the decision at everything that happens, and you're supposed to do it all. And that's impossible to do, and I think you drive yourself crazy. I'm really lucky. I've been able to hire some great coaches and some other people that are in our organization that do an unbelievably good job and work as hard as they can work and want to be successful, just like everybody in our program does. And you stay out of their way and let them do their job, and when you do that, good things happen.
Coach, one more thing. One of the great linebackers to ever play in the NFL just went into the Hall of Fame, and he pretty much got his start playing under you, and I'm talking about the great Brian Urlacher and your revolutionary hybrid safety linebacker position that gave me fits when I was playing at San Diego State. Were you able to talk to Brian, and what are your sentiments about him getting the highest honor he can get in football?
Yeah, I talked to him several times because he was nice enough to invite me to the ceremony, but we were in practice and couldn't go. And obviously, he's excited, and he deserves it. I mean, he's like you. I mean, he played football because he loved football, and then he was very, very talented at it. And we designed a defense to take advantage of his talents, and he made us look really good as coaches, just like he made the Bears coaches look really good when he was playing middle linebacker for them. And whenever you have guys like him and you that love to play the game, are willing to do what's most important for the team, and play as well as you can physically, they're really, guys like you guys are really fun to be around, and it's just an honor that you were even associated with a guy that goes into the NFL Hall of Fame.
I just wanted a quick follow. I'm so happy from you asked Coach, because I've been meaning to ask him about Urlacher, but just final thought here, Coach. When you're, let's say, a defensive coordinator or you're a head coach and you realize, guys, you're sitting with the coaches, we got a special player. Let's see how many different ways we can utilize this guy. How much fun is that from a coach when you have, sort of like that Swiss Army knife type player where we have so many different ways we can use this guy?
Well, it's a lot of fun. Now, people don't realize this. Some people do that know Urlacher's career in college, but he ran back kickoffs, he ran back punts, he ran down on kickoffs, he ran down on punts, and then when he got inside the 20-yard line in the red zone, we put him out at wide receiver and threw fade routes to him. So, I'm not real smart, but if I know if I have a great player out there, you better let him do as much as he can do and not get too tired. And so that's what we did.
Well, I remember you saying that about Rashad Penny. We'll see how it goes. We might pass the ball well, but if this Penny guy runs, we're going to hand him the rock, and that's exactly what you did. Well, Coach, again, 16 days away. We can't wait. Wish it was tomorrow. I know you need extra time, but we can't wait. August 31st, that Friday night up in Palo Alto, the Aztecs open up the season against Stanford. Coach, we love you, man, and keep everybody healthy. And
we're going to try. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. There he is, the great Rocky Long joining us right there. All right, good stuff. I just can't wait.
I love Rocky, man. He's always been, didn't like him when we played against him when he was at New Mexico, but he's meant so much to the Aztec program. He's really brought this program and this team to national prominence, and I appreciate everything he's done.
I've talked to a lot of coaches over the years, but he's a coach. Bobby Ross was that.
Yeah.
A coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just tell I'm a coach. I know I'm not worried about the rest of the stuff. Rocky Long doesn't have any social media. I'm a coach. This is what I do.
Yep.
I love it. I love this, and I love coaches like that.